to the Eastern Cape now. That province is aiming for an 88% matric pass rate for the 2025 NSC exams, as the province continues to improve some learner performance. Last year, the province achieved its best results since 1994 at 84.9%, up from just over 81% in 2023. Let's speak about this and many other related issues now with the Education MEC of the province, MEC Fundile Gade, who joins us now via our video link. MEC, thank you for your time. Welcome to the SABC News Channel on this new year. And you're kicking things off with quite an ambitious target for a province with its fair share of problems. Perhaps let's get a better sense on what you're basing that target of 88% on.
Yes, good morning to you and good morning to the SABC viewers. Yes, the province has been on a consistent upward trajectory for almost 5 years. That's why we were able to make that target of 88% pass rate for this past academic year. Scientifically, if you look in terms of the percentages and the targets that has been set in the previous academic years, we have been improving between 4 to 4.5% pass rate, which then gives you an indication that our systems are stable, our systems are maturing, and our schooling system is beginning to yield the outcomes that are there, and the quality of the educators that we have, in particular the principals and the subject teachers that we have in the province are of high quality, even if you can look in terms of the awards that the previous ministers and the current ministers has been awarding to the province. So that's why it was an issue for us, the target setting for the people of the province.
Yeah. The province, of course, is quite vast, and because of that, there are still a number of schools that, let's say, are within the peripheries, and that gives rise to a scenario where you have districts in the Eastern Cape that perform really well. I'm talking above 90% in some instances, and sadly others that lag behind still. Help us get a better sense of how much of a focus as the MEC you've placed on that, and whether or not there are material things we can point to try to turn the tide insofar as that discrepancy is concerned.
Our strategic view as a province for the past 2 years has been taking all districts of the province above 80%. And we nearly did that yes, last year, but I can assure you now that there is not going to be any district to be below 80% in the province. And the reason is that we have been able to monitor them quite very closely during the semester tests and also the last push program that we have been putting up front to schools, and also the trial examination as an instrument to test the capacity of the province and to look into what could be the best way in ensuring that at least beyond the statistics that we're talking about, we can put face of people whose ambitions is to bring leverage economically to the households that they are coming from. So for us, the improvement of education in the province is not just an academic exercise. It's an economic issue which must be anchored for the development of that particular province and the development of the people of that province from a household point of view to a ward-based economic development plan of the province.
Yeah, there's no overstating, of course, the spin-offs that come off having a working education system. MEC, speaking of monitoring some of these districts, I know your department launched the Know Your Learner tracking model, and this was to try and follow both the pupils who do well and those who don't. What has the data you've collected so far showed you about why some people in the Eastern Cape aren't doing as well as they should?
Yes, when we launched the Know Your Learner campaign, we wanted to be a bit scientifically and also to look at a closer range on matters that could have got a bearing on the schooling system beyond the academic component of it. Whether the kids are psychological and emotional ready for whatever assessment and examination process that must be engaged on, but also look at the nature and the character of the learner itself, whether academically from phase to phase have we been able to groom this kid, and also check the capacity of the institution itself, whether do you need an extra effort in building the capacity of the subject teacher concerned. So it's quite a broad concept that begins to unravel anything that could have been not noticed during the journey of the 12-year journey of basic education in the country. So it gives us a space to understand this learner and to understand the learning environment and to understand even beyond the academic environment of this learner. What are the challenges of this learner so that you can be able to augment from a provincial government's point of view, so that emotionally, psychologically, academically, this learner is ready for the assessment that has been put before them in terms of the national senior certificate examination in the country.
Yeah. The Eastern Cape has had long-standing infrastructure issues even within the schooling system, and that's led to a whole vast array of challenges such as overcrowding. I suppose it makes it harder for you to implement some of your own objectives. Given the recent heavy rains we've seen in parts of the province, perhaps even the more recent veld fires that have plagued parts of the province, I wonder if you are worried about what this would do to your level of preparedness for the start of the 2026 academic year.
Honestly speaking, we are one of the provinces that has been ready for the 2026 academic year as early as the 1st of December last year. So we take the matter of school readiness as a serious matter as a province. We dealt with the issue of the learner support material as early as the 30th of November last year. We have passed through that stage. We dealt with the issue of the infrastructure of schools that should have been finished and hand over to communities. As I'm speaking to you, in a day or two from today, the Premier and myself are handing some of the schools that have been finished by December. One of them is Engcobo, Stoza Senior Secondary School, which must be handed over by the Premier on Wednesday. So I'm saying we are dealing fundamentally with the issue of the infrastructure, of course. Of course, with a background which is not that much kind and not that much handy, because you will understand that we're coming from a background of 72 billion, the backlog of the province in terms of the research that the former MEC, the late Makopola, did a couple of years ago. So we are on a trajectory of ensuring that from time to time we reduce that backlog of 72 billion, in as much as we have got 1.9 billion allocation per year, which could cost us a bit of some years for us to be able to deal fundamentally with the backlog of 72. But I can safely say, for example, this year we have been able to hand over about 27 schools, new finished ones, in a space of a year, which then tells you that the aggressiveness of the infrastructure team that we have in the province realize the contribution of changing the learning environment of the kids and the learning environment of all those that are undergoing schooling system in the province, fundamentally important. So we are again ensuring that the 235 disaster schools that were smashed by the storm of the 10th of June last year, some of them has been handed over, some of them will be handed over during the course of January and February. because we have changed the procurement processes to appeal to the emergency procurement as defined by law, so that you can be able to deal with the emergencies that are there. So our machinery is oiled up to accept the kids that are coming for this academic year 2026. But also I would want to take off my head for the teachers of the province. They have held the fort for the people of that province. They are the ones that have been able to do something out of nothing in the majority of times. So that's why I can't leave that statement unattended to.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. The MEC of Education in the Eastern Cape is Fundile Gade. MEC, once again, thanks very much indeed. All the best.